Offbeat Reggae Radio, playing the finest reggae, rocksteady, root stub and ska. On the line, I have a gentleman who has been writing, recording and performing ska music for 16 years with a Dallas-based two-tone band, who I imagine we will find out a little bit more in a minute. In this time, he has shared the stage with legends of the genre and current greats as well. Working on his own solo stuff now though. I first played one of his tracks in episode 7 back in September 2019, and I've been following his music ever since. Really pleased to be able to chat to Jon E Bravo, also known as Mr. Kingpin. Hello, sir.
Hello, how's it going?
Yeah, very, very well. How are you?
Doing well. Keeping quarantined and safe.
Yeah, aren't we all? I'm very lucky in the fact that I work from home, I do this from home. I think I've been actually spending most of my life preparing for just not seeing anybody.
I can't complain. I'm doing the same. I'm sitting in my studio, my home studio, and so I'm pretty happy here, sitting during the day.
Right, let's kick this off then. Offbeat intros, we look into artists and their career and play some of their tunes and have a bit of a laugh at the same time. So, I've been a bit vague while introducing you for a reason, mainly because I'd like you to let us know about how you've got to where you are and any cool stories that you'd like us to know on the way.
Well, I've been playing and writing and recording ska music for what seems like forever. But 16, 17 years. And back in 2003, I started a ska band called Rude King in Chicago, Illinois. And from there, we played, performed for a couple years, and then I relocated to Dallas, Texas, where I restarted Rude King, and we've been going strong till last year. We finally, quote unquote, retired. But we still are all friends, and we still do little things here and there.
It wasn't a dramatic ending then?
No drama. It was just time to do different things. Everybody kind of had different projects going on, and I actually needed to refocus on some other things for a little bit, so it was a good time to stop. Actually, we had just put out a quarantine video. We did a little quarantine video just a couple months ago, just for fun, that we released.
So that's the members of Rude King, is it?
Yeah, well, there's a video that's the members of Rude King. But also, as we'll talk about, I'm doing something new as well, solo project.
How have you found the solo stuff since being part of a band? And then I suppose, is it just you doing everything, or are you getting session musicians in?
I am working with some friends. So it started years ago. I was getting more and more, I guess, as I got into ska when I was a teenager. I think in America, a lot of the kids in the late 90s got introduced to ska because of, what we call the third wave ska bands. Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, all these bands that started coming up. So I'm from that generation.
Yeah, me too. I've seen both of those in London.
Yeah, exactly. I still love a lot of punk ska bands, from when I was a teenager, but I started making my way through ska and moving backwards in time. So I've been really into two-tone, really into traditional Jamaican ska music, rocksteady. And so as the years went on, that was kind of where my interest was moving towards. But Rude King was very much punk ska, or we started moving more two-tone as the years went on. The vibe for doing rocksteady and really bringing it back, it needed to be something different.
And that's where we are now. Let's get some music on. Let's get some, allow people to get a bit more of a feel for you. This song is actually, you've mentioned it already, and it's from a video that's out, which we can mention a little bit after the song plays. So let's just introduce it, get it on, and we can chat afterwards.
Yep, this song is called Actions Speak Louder, and it's off of an upcoming album that we're working on for this year.
Make the effort to go and watch that on YouTube. Mr. Kingpin, Actions Speak Louder Than Words, Quarantine Edition, with the split screen bands, the kind of vibe that seems to be going on during the coronavirus crisis.
Yes, that was a very fun video to do. This is actually just a live version that we did. Recorded version will be on the upcoming album. And as you can see, we had Mr. David Hilliard there from the Slackers that was doing a guest spot for us on saxophone.
Very nice indeed. We actually had the Slackers as a featured artist not too long ago, and now you will be on the featured artist list with them as well, but I'll tell you about that a little bit later on. Mr. Kingpin, now it is your chance to tell us about the bands or tunes that we might not have heard of. Influences, please, or just bands that you think that we should be listening to?
Well, where to begin? There's so many influences, so many good bands out there. Especially, I mean, if you really look at what's happening now with ska music, reggae music, there's so many bands, past, present, that are out touring right now. So it's kind of an amazing time. I mean, some of my huge influences are a lot of the two-tone bands, Selector, the Specials, huge into Bad Manners. I mean, all these bands. I've gotten to see the Selector here in New York, which was amazing. That was a band I never thought I'd get to see. Played with the English Beat several times as they passed through Texas. Moving forward, some of the newer bands that I'm really into right now, kind of all over the U.S., there's a lot of great bands that are popping up. And out of Philadelphia, there's a really great band called Catbite, which is really neat. It's like a kind of a mix of ska and rock and roll. And they're made up of members of bands that I've played with in the past.
Okay, great. I'll make a note to keep an eye out for them. Catbite, yeah?
You're going to love it. In New York, there's a band that we played with in the past called Stop the Presses. They've got a really cool two-tone vibe to them, female-fronted band. In California, there's some great bands right now. The Steady 45s, they're doing really good rock-steady ska music. If you like the punkier stuff, one of my favorite bands out there is Mata Mosca. Really good stuff. Even soul bands, like ska and soul bands, there's one of my favorite bands right now is the Capsules. And of course, I'm sure you guys have all heard, but probably one of my top favorite bands right now, friends of mine, is Hub City Stompers.
Oh, yeah, I love those.
They're in a genre all their own, right?
It's amazing. It really is. It was a featured album not too long ago, actually. Really, really enjoying what they're doing.
Yeah. So, yeah, those are kind of a lot of my big influences and bands I'm listening to right now.
Okay, well, let's talk about the tune that you have picked to play. I hadn't actually heard of it before. I've heard of him, or them, should I say, but I hadn't heard of that specific song, because it's going back a few years into that career. We all know them, so it's kind of a test to see if the people listening actually know about it. And do you know what? I'm happy to be bested. So if people are listening to the show and go, Andy, honestly, come on, do your own work, flip a neck. Like that's absolutely fine. But tell us about the song that you've chosen.
Okay, here's the funny thing is that I heard this song done by another band for years, and obviously, like much of you find out, a lot of two-tone is just covers of Jamaican ska. And so a band in California, which I'm sure everybody's heard of, Hepcat.
Oh, I love them.
This is a song that they play. This is a song they're known for. It took a while to realize, as I started learning my roots, where the original song was. But yeah, I heard it from Hepcat first, and then I heard the original. So I'll leave it there so that you could play the tune.
Oh, okay. So we won't tell them what it is until afterwards.
That's right.
Right, let's get it on then. A 1965 release, and if Wikipedia is to be trusted, it was a non-album single and had Magadog as a B-side. Do you think that people would have worked that out? Because I hadn't heard that before, and I wouldn't have even guessed from listening to it.
Well, like I said, I don't think I would have known about it had Hepcat not been doing that song back in the, was it late 90s, early 2000s. So that's kind of one of the songs they're known for, and then to find out that was a Bob Marley and the Wailers tune, that's crazy.
I know, called Hooligan. Amazing, really, really like it, and had no idea it even existed. See, this is why I do the show. It really is. Being introduced to stuff like that I had no clue about before is just fantastic to me. Anyway, enough of other people's music, let's go back to yours. We know that you're making music with other cool musicians during lockdown. What else is planned for the foreseeable future?
Well, back in February, I went to California, got together with some friends of mine. My friend Esteban from Mata Mosca, he is helping me produce a new album. Last year, we produced together those two singles, Cards on the Table and Ease Your Mind. This year, it was just a continuation. Those were basically just the first two songs that we collabed on together for Mr. Kingpin. And we got the rest of the album recorded. It's all resting on my shoulders now because I have to do the vocal tracks. So that's where we're at right now. All the music's recorded now, and over the next couple weeks, I'm going to be recording vocals. We've got 10 new tracks one of which we played the quarantine version of, Actions Speak Louder. So that's kind of like my big focus now, is getting this solo album out. It's a lot of traditional ska. It's a lot of rock steady. I threw in a little bit of soul on some songs. I'm really excited. A lot of these songs I wrote actually years ago when I started really getting into the style of music and wanting to write the style of music. So I finally got to get this material out and recorded.
It sounds great. Is the pressure on? Is there a deadline?
There's no deadline, but I probably need to put a deadline on myself so that we can get this done. I still need to get a horn section in to record one song that we got. A lot of it is without horns. It's heavy on the organ influence. Like I said, there's a lot of rock steady in there too, but there's a couple songs with horns.
Okay, I really, really look forward to that. I'll be straight on top of that, don't you worry. Now, Ease Your Mind is your recent release. What spurred you to write it? Can you tell us a bit about the song before we shove it on?
It's really like experiences I've had with close friends or even family that going through anxiety and different issues. And this was before COVID, but now that we're in this situation, a lot of people are facing just the anxiety of having to be stuck at home all day, every day, things like that. So you'll hear in the lyrics, the song was I was reaching out to somebody just to tell them to calm down, ease their mind before they start acting on kind of things that they were thinking on, just to think before you impulsively do something in a crazy state. You know, we've lost a lot of good friends here locally over the last few years, and you got to reach out. You got to be there for people. And if you see something, you got to really don't be afraid to reach out and just at least ask if everything's okay and be there for people.
Yeah, definitely. Really nice message to put across. Okay, well, listen to the lyrics. Quite a happy song, but deep and meaningful and important at the same time, isn't it? So would you like to introduce it, sir?
Yes, this is my second single from 2019. And it's a nice, easygoing reggae tune called Ease Your Mind.
Mr. Kingpin, Ease Your Mind plays on Offbeat Reggae Radio. It's time to say bye. But before we do, though, is there anything that we haven't mentioned? Is there anything that you'd like to put across before we go?
Aside from Mr. Kingpin, I wanted you guys to check out a couple things that I got going on over here. I do a weekly live stream, Facebook live stream called Supernova Saturdays, the Quarantine Sessions. And this is for Supernova International Ska Festival. We produce this. We have all kinds of ska artists on, and that we do live video interviews, and then they usually do some musical performance. And we're doing that every Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time or 8 p.m. Eastern Time in the U.S. Also, you can find my ska-themed art that I do. When I'm not doing music, I'm doing art. I usually don't do both of them at the same time very well, but I keep jumping back and forth from music to art. You can find me on Facebook at Ska Illustrated, where I've been doing some ska-themed art, and I even did a deck of playing cards featuring a lot of ska artists that is going to be available for the Supernova Ska Festival 2021. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of everything here.
It very much sounds like it. Okay, well, you've pointed people towards your other bits and bobs, but if they're interested in the tunes, where do they go?
You can find me on all the social media at Mr. Kingpin Ska, and we're on Bandcamp, Apple Music, all the streaming sites. Soon we'll have the yet untitled release. We'll have an announcement soon on the title and the release date as soon as we finish up tracking the music.
Nice. There's links to important places from MrKingpinSka.com as well, isn't there? So we must throw that in.
Correct.
Now, something that I also want to mention, and my listeners are bored of it, but you won't know, potentially. Every single person that I talk to ends up with their own featured artist page as well. So I will knock together a bio for you. I'll steal some of your images, with permission, of course, and see if I can get some videos, and I'll display it all on the offbeatreggae.com website for you too.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you.
Absolutely no problem. Love to do it. Love your music. Keep going. And if anything happens that you want to shout about, please do let me know.
Sounds great. Thanks for giving me this time to talk to you.